I wanted to share some reflections on our identity and origins. What inspired me is that some scientists today are imposing our limitations onto God and making claims such as the impossibility of God's existence due to the absence of time before the Big Bang, suggesting that God had no time to create the universe. Firstly, it's important to note that the existence of the Big Bang is still a subject of discussion and investigation. And secondly, these scientists are imposing our own limited understanding onto the concept of God. Significant challenges arise when we attempt to impose our limited understanding onto God, as humans often have a tendency to try to quantify and measure everything. Our finite minds face difficulties in comprehending the vastness beyond spatial dimensions, X, Y, Z, and time as the fourth dimension. It is important to note that the notion of consciousness emerging from matter through a sequence of transformations from the Big Bang to evolution of life form loses all credibility when we consider the elusive nature of matter itself. Scientists have been unable to definitively locate or define matter, leading to the realization that it might not actually exist. Instead, what exists is the mind of God, which encompasses everything. The concept of dimensions dissolve when we contemplate our consciousness and perceive ourselves existing within the mind of God. To illustrate this, in your mind, imagine standing in an expansive, abandoned parking lot with the building off in the distance. As you walk across the lot, you notice a box within the lot. You touch it, measure its dimensions, and conclude that it is real. However, the box only exists within consciousness, as do the parking lot, the building, the tape measure, and the time it took to measure the box. These dimensions are mere constructs of our limited minds. While our individual consciousness may dispute this truth by insisting on its ability to measure and quantify, the greater consciousness of who we are understands that everything exists within consciousness itself. When we observe the world and speculate about its vastness, we must recognize that there is only the mind of God. Our limitations lead us to attempt to quantify using X, Y, and Z and time. But these are simply products of our constrained perspective. If someone wishes to challenge this perspective and provide evidence of physical matter, I welcome their efforts. Let's consider the scenario of dreaming at night. Suppose you live and fall asleep in your bed at night, located in Ohio, and dream of being on a beach in Florida. In your dream state, you are unaware that you are physically asleep in Ohio. While dreaming, you find yourself on a Florida beach, admiring the boats and people swimming. As your dream self, you close your eyes and lose your sight. However, when you open your eyes again, you perceive the beach, the water, the boats once more. This leads you to believe that your brain, situated behind your eyes, is responsible for your conscious experience of the beach and its surrounding. Unbeknownst to you, the entire scenario is merely a manifestation of your consciousness while you sleep, and nothing physically exists. This entire experience is purely a manifestation of consciousness, and you are merely playing a role in your dream. In this dream world, the other individuals you encounter are also aspects of yourself, though you have concealed this fact from yourself and them. Additionally, you have granted these dream characters a sense of autonomy, deluding them and yourself into believing their independent existence. Analogously, this can be likened to a game of hide and seek. While the people in your dream may perceive themselves as real entities, and to some extent they are, but at their core, they are ultimately manifestations of your own consciousness while you sleep. Thus, at our essence, the space, time, and self we perceive are all in the mind of God, which is infinite consciousness. Love, synonymous with God, constitutes the core of our being. According to the Bible, every blade of grass is numbered, and God possesses knowledge of everything, because God's consciousness is boundless and infinite. Consequently, the only entity that truly exists is God, While scientists tirelessly search for a unified theory, the answer lies in understanding that everything is the mind of God. None of us, whether people or animals, exist in our own right. We derive our consciousness from our Creator God, who is the only infinite consciousness. As such, there can only be one infinite consciousness. It is not possible to have an infinite consciousness coexist with 7 billion independent consciousnesses, as this would render the infinite consciousness no longer infinite. All beings are interconnected. Much like when you dream and encounter other dream characters, these characters are essentially different aspects or expressions of yourself, yet endowed with free will. You assume various roles within your dream, creating an illusion of multiple existences through a game of hide and seek. In the realm of dreams, if you and a group of people embark on a voyage across an endless ocean, it is important to recognize that the ocean and the other individuals exist solely within the realm of consciousness. There is no physical location that can be pinpointed or measured in this dream scenario. The characters within the dream may believe in the reality of their experience, including the existence of a measurable geographical location. Similarly, what we perceive as our reality in this world also exists purely within the realm of consciousness. However, our limited minds often impose limitations, insisting on the necessity of a geographical location and the passage of time. In truth, there is only eternity and the consciousness, namely God. The perception of dimensions and time is a constraint imposed by our finite minds.